All right, guys, welcome back. We have Whitaker versus Reinier. The Reinier just wrapped up. I'm going to break down the whole card from the bottom all the way to the top, obviously covering the main event, Peter Yan, Robert Whitaker's close fight with Reinier de Reinier. It was a pretty good card. There were some interesting fights. I did pretty bad on picks, I'm not going to lie, but there's also some kind of surprise wins, I think, for some of us. Not like crazy, but like definitely a couple that you're like, the hell was that? Anyways, it was a good card overall. It was quite enjoyable. There's a couple of like good fights where they're just absolute wars, and then there was a couple fights, I mean, I guess it's like every card. There's a couple fights that were kind of just, what are you doing, brother? But we'll get into all that stuff. I was actually camping with the missus in Maine, if you guys know where that is, in the States, on the coast this weekend. So I was driving and watching some of these fights at the same time, and I went through a couple cellular dead spots as well. So there was a couple fights I didn't get to see all of it in the moment, and then I went back and watched them later. So anyways, it is what it is. We can only do so much, but I'm here putting out a video for you guys, predictions and recaps on every card at the bare minimum. So I hope you guys enjoy. Other than that, I have torn my LCL partially, so I've been out of ski training for the upcoming Olympics and MMA training as well for this summer. So I've been rehabbing, 3 weeks into rehab, and I got another I'm cleared in 4 weeks. I got another week to go, another week or two to go, and I should be cleared to get back to ski training and get ready to kick some asses of contests and go to the Olympics this year. That's the goal. And then we're going to beat everybody up next year. Anyways, I digress. We got Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchechka. We all supposedly thought or got tricked into thinking that Marcus Buchechka was insane at grappling because he has all these amazing grappling accolades, and they just really did not show in this fight. He did okay in the grappling positions against Martin Buday. It wasn't like he was like the worst, he wasn't the worst of the two grapplers, but he definitely was not like leaps and bounds ahead of somebody like Martin Buday, which he should be with all his grappling accolades. And he won a decision. It wasn't like a crazy decision. He got a bit tired, but for the most part, it was just Marcus Buday had way more experience in MMA and way more experience in fighting. And Marcus Buchechka's grappling experience it didn't do enough. Like, you think if you have this guy's level of grappling experience or supposed grappling experience or accolades or whatever, but we see this all the time with other people like Bo Nickel and stuff like that it would transfer over really well to MMA, especially in grappling sequences. And there was grappling sequences in this fight where he just made really poor decision making, whether it was like jumping the back and then falling off really early. It was just stuff that you would expect somebody with this kind of level of accolades to not make. But again, it's like, I believe it's his first fight in the UFC. He's got 5 fights in MMA, so nerves can affect people, and you can rush things that you normally wouldn't. However, you think with a lot of contest experience outside of the UFC, whether it's grappling, I mean, I know grappling and MMA is not the same, but it's a very similar sport. It's not like you're going from like 2 completely different sports. And even if you are going from 2 completely different sports, if you can compete at the highest level of one sport, you know what it takes to be focused and dialed in and compete at the highest level in another sport. So I thought it would transfer over better, but Martin Buday got a good win. All the heavyweight prospects are just getting dummied, bro. And also, like, the one fit heavyweight we see come around every once in a while just gets clapped by the physique. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think anymore. Next fight, Muhammad Yahya versus Steven Nguyen. I mean, we got to talk about this. Everybody's talked about this. You guys know what happened. If you follow YouTube MMA and MMA in general and you're watching this channel, you will know what happened in this fight. But god damn it, Muhammad Yahya got literally KO'd 6 times. It was crazy. This was one of the ones where my cell service was kind of cutting in and out for. And it would freeze for a second and you'd get dropped. And then it would come back, he'd be on his feet, and then he'd get dropped. And then it would freeze a second, and then he'd be up for a second, then he'd be down for a second. But I went back and I rewatched it, and I mean, man, Steven Nguyen, I'm just skipping pronounce like that, to be honest, but he was just beating Muhammad Yahya's ass pretty much his whole fight. And we kind of knew that was coming in this fight. Like, Muhammad Yahya, I think he's 0-3 now. And Steven Nguyen's the better fighter. But I don't think I've seen somebody get dropped that many. Well, I've never seen somebody get dropped that many times, but that easily. And he's almost dropping himself sometimes. Like, obviously, there were some really good shots from Steven Yeun that Muhammad Yahya took that absolutely floored him. And there's a couple ones where, like, Steven Yeun, like, hit him, like, kind of clean, but he's, like, tripping over his own feet and falling down. Part of that might be because he was already rocked in the fight, to be honest. Like, that's completely fair, and that could be the case. It just looked like he was, I kind of want to say chinny, but it's also, like, again, he had some really big shots at the beginning. So it's one of those ones where he was just outclassed by a lot, and he toughed it out. He had a really, like, tough, heart-filled, it's been a long day. I drove 7 hours back from Maytay. Heart-filled, I guess, performance, but he really did get his ass kicked. Coming in, I mean, he made it to the second round, and he came out, and he actually dropped Steven Yeun, and I was like, oh shit, this could be like a comeback of the century, because I thought, like, the fight could have been stopped in the first, as many people did, and then he immediately got dropped again, and I was like, okay, this shit's got to stop. Made it through the second round somehow, got dropped again, and yeah, they stopped the fight. His eye was mangled, so I don't know if it was fractured or what was going on, but he has some serious healing to do and some serious reconsideration about whether he wants to fight in the UFC or not, because I believe he's 0-3 and he's probably going to get cut. And he took a beating in that fight. So this next fight, Ibo Aslan versus Billy Alakana. If you guys have watched all these fights, which I'm assuming you have, this fight absolutely blew dick. Ibo Aslan is supposed to be this absolute marauder and just come forward and just destroy somebody, and he didn't at all. This was one of those fights where I always talk about on the channel where I absolutely fucking hate these guys that come out there and they just try to, like, I don't even care, like, if you try to win a close decision, like, if you have to be up on out, you have to throw more than the other person. You cannot let yourself lose a close decision simply because you waited too much. And we see it happen all the time, and oh my god, bro, like, if you were throwing the same amount of strikes as the other person, you have to assume that you could lose that fight unless you drop them. Like, you have to assume that. And he was just going one shot for one shot or one shot for two shots at Billy Alakana, and he's like assuming he's going to win that. Like, no, you have to. I mean, you can look at the total strikes, 29-35. First of all, that's absolutely miserable. Like, that's miserable for 15 minutes. Like, we all can throw that many punches in, like, the span of 2 minutes. And then to expect to win, because Ibo Aslan was, very surprised that he didn't get his hand raised. And to be fair, it was a very close fight. But I still had Billy Alakana up on the scorecards, and mainly just because he did, like, a tiny, tiny bit more. He threw, like, literally, like, 3 strikes more around, which is literally nothing. That's like, okay, I'm just going to tap a low kick at range. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick jab to the body. Okay, I'm going to tap one more low kick on the outside, and I've won that round because the other guy is doing, like, literally 3 strikes less than me in 5 minutes. So very, very frustrating stuff to watch. I mean, obviously, you have somebody like Ibo Aslan who's kind of counting on a KO, but he never even really tried to go out and get a KO. There was, like, one shot he threw, like, everything on and almost fell over. But for the most part, he was trying to out-technique Billy Alakana, and he just didn't throw enough. Like, he literally just let himself lose a very close decision, and it wasn't, like, sad to watch. It was just kind of, like, disappointing to watch, I guess. And then we got my girl, Tabitha Ritchie. We love her on the channel. And I called this. I thought that she would win. I did think she would win by decision. However, I kind of figured that she would be the more active person doing more, and that's exactly what she is. One thing with Tabitha Ritchie, I wasn't expecting a finish in this fight. However, if you elbow somebody in the eye socket, it's probably going to hurt them, so good on her. One thing about Tabitha Ritchie, like, when she is in close, basically the whole fight, no matter what, she's doing more than the other person. She wants to close the distance. She wants to make it kind of a grimy fight where she's landing, like, these short shots, these power, like, not even powerful shots, these, like, vicious, like, it's hard to say vicious because it's, again, Tabitha Ritchie, but these kind of vicious, like, damaging shots. She's somebody who's, like, going to make it a gritty fight, and she's also looking to cause damage, which a lot of time we see these guys, war girls, who, They want to make a grimy fight, a grinder fight, kind of like Bryce Mitchell did in his fight later that we'll get into. But they don't want to. They're not looking for shots that are going to damage the person. They're looking more for control time than damage. Tabitha Ritchie is really high output. She has amazing cardio. She has good striking. She has good grappling. But the difference is when she closes the distance and or even at range, but mainly when she closes distance or gets takedowns, she's looking to cause damage, and she's doing things that cause damage. She's throwing elbows. Like, it makes a lot of sense. If you're that close, don't try to rattle punch them or you can hit a couple knees to the hamstring if you got them up against the fence, but, a couple knees to the hamstring and then maybe elbow, right? There's these shots that are going to cause damage that a lot of people just simply don't use, and she does a very, very good job of trying to find ways to cause damage in fights. And again, when she was on the outside against Amanda Ribas, she's doing a lot, whether it's effective, whether she's kind of wasting a bit of energy, like going all around everywhere. She's using a lot of it. She's doing a lot, so it looks good. And she's able to close the distance too because she's doing a lot. And she's always up on the scorecards because she does a lot. Anyways, great win from Tabitha Ritchie. I thought it was a nasty KO. She looked really good. I think she's one of the better fighters in this division. I know she's ranked 10th, but I think she's a top 5 fighter in this division. Do I see her getting the belt? We'll see, but I do think she's one of these girls that is like one of the best in this division by far. I think she out hustles everybody in this division. Like, I don't think there's anybody that's going to beat her with like output or energy. And she's kind of like Merab, like the Merab of this division. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but I feel like that's the right analogy. When I think of her kind of like, she kind of fights like a Merab in this division. She's doing a lot, and she's looking to pressure you always. And Merab doesn't always look for damage, but she's looking for damage. She doesn't always look for damage either, but she does a lot of the time. So, anyways, great win from Tabitha Ritchie. She looked hot while doing it, which is a bonus. So, yeah. Davey Grant versus Damon Blackshear, dude. This was a good one for our boy. Look at this grin, man. How do you not root for this guy? How do you not root for this dude, bro? Davey Grant is, honestly, I always remember watching his fights and thinking, like, how is this guy not ranked higher? Like, I always thought he was a really good fighter. And from the moment I watched his first fight, I was like, damn, like, this is a fighter, like, I'm gonna, like, every time he's on a fight card, I'm gonna make sure I watch his fight. Like, he's very entertaining. He has a good style. It's an entertaining style again. And, I don't know. His striking is good. He's well-rounded. He's an entertaining fighter. He's really on, like, he had 2 close decision losses that he could have arguably won. Otherwise, he would be on a huge win streak right now. But for Davey Grant to come out here after a pretty long layoff, actually, I think he's old as shit, too. I think he's, like, almost 40. At an old-ass age. I think he might be 38 or something. And beat a guy like Damon Blackshear, who just had a great fight against, why am I forgetting who he fought against? Anyways, had a great fight in his last fight and looked very, very good. He was a really good grappler and actually just a very well all-around fighter. Good on Davey Grant. I had Damon Blackshear winning this fight just because I thought he would win the grappling exchanges, which in the first round he took Davey Grant down and he controlled him the whole time. He got in the back, and Damon Blackshear is a very, very high-level grappler, and if he's on your back, you don't want to be too explosive at any positions. You want to make sure that you are not going to get submitted, because if you try to do something too fast or you just slip up a bit, you are going to get submitted. And he had his back like the whole first round. So Davey Grant did a good job of defending, though. Davey Grant's like grappling and takedown defense is not bad. It's really not bad. But Damon Blackshear's also takedowns. He's good at grappling. He's good on the ground, but his takedowns in general aren't like his strong suit. So I think if he improved his takedowns, he probably would have had a bit more success against Davey Grant getting him down. However, after that first round, he wasn't able to get Davey Grant down. Davey Grant just literally turned it on in the second, third round and mogged Damon Blackshear. And part of it was Damon Blackshear was just not doing enough. Not doing enough with the hands. Like, Davey Grant was landing good shots. Davey Grant was hitting him hard with these big looping shots and hitting him with good shots to the body as well. And defending all the takedowns, obviously. But Damon Blackshear wasn't throwing enough. Like, in the second and third round, he would let himself get... Okay, Davey Grant is a bit better in the stand-up than Damon Blackshear. We kind of saw that coming in. I thought Damon Blackshear was, like, equal levels to Davy Grant in the stand-up, but I thought he would use, in this previous fight, he used really, really good long-range weapons with his Muay Thai, his kicks, everything like that. This fight, but I said in the predictions that he did that really good in his last fight in the first round, and then in the second round he kind of went away for a bit and just kind of leaned into just boxing. And I thought he could use those push kicks and his kind of long-rangey Muay Thai kicks. Like, he was using open stance body kicks really well in his last fight in the first round, just in the first round for the most part. I thought he could use that against Davy Grant to keep him at bay, and then in the grappling he'd have the advantage. But he just didn't do any of that. In the second and the third round, he pretty much only used boxing, and Davy Grant's better at boxing, and he wasn't able to keep Davy Grant away. He threw less, and he got hit with a cleaner shot, so he lost. Davy Grant looked great, and Stunt's another prospect. Damon Blackshear is really good, like, Muay Thai overall. Like, from his last fight, I watched it, and I was very impressed with where I thought his level was at. I thought his striking looked very good for where I thought he was. And I thought he would be able to use those kicks and the long-rangey strikes a little bit better to keep Davy Grant at bay. But to be fair to Davy Grant, he was walking through everything Damon Blackshear threw at him, taking it or blocking it, but partially taking it, partially blocking it, and throwing back with really hard shots. So it was good. It was a really good performance from Davy Grant. Honestly, I want Davy Grant to win. I wanted Davy Grant to win, but I thought he might be a little bit out-grappled in this fight and was equal in the stand-up, but I was wrong. I actually missed this fight, so I had to go back and watch Carlos Leal get cooked. Sucks, bro. I thought Carlos Leal would win. And also, fuck, now we have Muslim Salikov with a win, and Carlos Leal is like... Carlos Leal was kind of this, like, he had some aura around him as a fighter in this division, and now he does not. But to be fair, Muslim Salikov has been KOing pretty much everybody, and Carlos Leal literally just disregarded that fact whatsoever, threw no defense up at all, and just tried to KO Muslim Salikov. And he got timed beautifully with a nice shot, and he got slept. Bro got slept. Muslim Salikov has got fast hands, and bro, just you look at the two guys side by side and you're like, brother, which one would you pick to win? And that MMA math never works out. But I think if Carlos Leal just fought like a more disciplined fight and just didn't disregard what Muslim Salikov, is capable of whatsoever, he probably would have, won this fight. But he literally fought this fight like Muslim Salikov couldn't hurt him or even touch him, and unfortunately, that was not the case. He got KO'd. But I think he'll learn from that, and he'll come back and have some good performances. I just hope he's not too timid in his next fight, trying to avoid that. We got Bryce Mitchell-Brummer versus Said Nurmagomedov. I labeled this one as Battle of the Cousins. But, yeah. I don't know. It was an entertaining fight-ish. I'm not sold on Bryce Mitchell I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's like a great fighter. Like, a lot of people are treating Bryce Mitchell as like he's this guy that should be in the top 5 of the divisions. I don't think so. I think he's a ranked fighter in either featherweight or bantamweight, but he's not a top 5 fighter in these divisions by any means, and definitely not in bantamweight. I don't see how he wins in bantamweight in the top 5. Like, Peter Yan smokes him, Sean O'Malley just KOs him on the feet. Merab just literally tosses him around. Yeah, I don't really see how he breaks the top 5 of this division. But I don't know. He'll do like good in top 10, top 15, maybe like 5 to 15. He'll probably do pretty good at. But other than that, I don't think he's gonna have much left. Hello, I'm doing a YouTube video. It's me. Yeah. But yeah, he looked good against Said Nurmagomedov. He kind of was just a bit stronger than him, and Said gassed out. I mean, Said Nurmagomedov obviously better on the feet. His grappling held up quite well against Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell, I don't think he was more technical than Said in the grappling whatsoever. I think he's just a tiny bit stronger, and his gas tank lasted longer. So, he kind of won that way. He got hit with a beautiful knee by Said Nurmagomedov in the second round, second round or first round? I believe it was the second round, which dropped him, and I thought it could have been over for Bryce, but he pulled together, got through this one. He's an entertaining character and person to have fighting, so it's nice to see him win. I'd much rather see him win than Said Nurmagomedov. But I really don't see how he does well, much past 3 more fights in this division. he's going to have a hard time against the top guys in bantamweight. But yeah, it is what it is. And next we got Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. Nikita Krylov's having a tough go of it back, man. Comes back, gets KO'd by not Johnny Walker, but Dominic Reyes. I forgot this in the recap as well, or in the predictions as well. And then he gets cooked by Bogdan Guskov. So I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to have some serious reevaluating to do. Doesn't seem like his chin. I want to say it doesn't seem like his chin is there, but he's just getting hit with really nice, clean shots. He's not. Most of the stuff he throws is, again, very flaky, very touchy. He doesn't have a lot of steam on a lot of it, so somebody like Bogdan Guskov can kind of disregard what Nikita Krylov's throwing at him, even if it's a bit more technical, and you can kind of walk Nikita Krylov down and throw with power, and that's kind of what happened. Bogdan Guskov is actually a lot better than he looks when he's fighting. So one thing to keep in mind is that you think of Bogdan Guskov, you're like, he's kind of a little sloppy, and he's not like this technician. But fighting him, I feel like, would be a lot harder than it looks. Anyways, it was a good win for Bogdan Guskov. He's on a little bit of a tear right now, and I have no idea what we're going to do for Krylov next, but probably nothing. Throw him out. Alsu Ababaya versus Jose Ochoa. You want to come through? Yeah, run through. You got this. You got this. Queen is back. The queen is back. Battle of the short guys. We love it. My short king, Alsu Ababaya, 5'4". We like that height. That's a good height. That's on par for the channel. You got a dub over Jose Ochoa. I thought Jose Ochoa could win this fight, and I did pick him to win this fight. However, it was a little bit of a moonshot picking him. Like, it was more like I knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I was picking him kind of because I wanted him to win more than I thought he could win this fight for sure, but I wasn't sure because Alsu Ababaya is considerably better at grappling than him. But he did do good against the grappler's last fight in Cody Durden. But Alsu Ababaya, for the most part, was just this much more of a technical grappler and wrestler than Jose Ochoa, and that's what won him the fight. Jose Ochoa is, again, like I said, he's mean, he's gritty, he's looking to cause damage in every aspect. He's got amazing cardio. He's really strong and big for the division. And all that showed against Alsu Ababaya. Alsu Ababaya just was a little bit better at controlling the grappling sequences. So even on the ground, Jose Ochoa was looking for submissions, but Alsu Ababaya, obviously, his background in combat jiu-jitsu, he's gonna be able to defend that stuff. And he was able to kind of, when it did go to the ground or it did get a takedown, kind of control Jose Ochoa enough to win the rounds. On the feet, actually, Alsu Ababaya looked quite good. He did catch Jose Ochoa with some nice stuff. I think he caught him with a head kick at one point. Jose Ochoa is better at the striking than Alsu Ababaya, but because Alsu Ababaya is mixing in all the grappling and everything like that, he kind of tricked Jose Ochoa. Like, you're worried about the grappling and then you get hit with a head kick. And it is what it is. But Alsu Ababaya looked really good. I forgot how good this guy was. He's definitely one of the better fighters in this division. But I think Jose Ochoa also he's very, very green in his career. So he's very fresh in his career. And Alsu Ababaya was fighting the best guys in flyweight already. So I think Jose Ochoa, you gave him 2 or 3 more years, he's going to beat somebody like Alsu Ababaya. But right now, again, is a pretty big step up for him. He was going from Cody Durden to number 9 ranked Alsu Ababaya, and it was still a really good fight. And even though Jose Ochoa lost at least 2 of the rounds, pretty decently, he was still trying to fight out of positions and submissions, or trying to get submissions all the way up until the end of the bell, which is something you really like to see out of him. Even if you're losing, he wasn't accepting a position at any time in this fight, and he was always looking for a way to cause damage or get out of stuff. And that's why I think he's a problem for a lot of people. He's always looking to win a fight, no matter what. Unlike, we scroll back down to our boy Ibo Aslam and Billy Alcana, who are not looking to win a fight at any point in that fight. So, up next we got Sharon Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Boys, we were hoping that Marc-Andre Barriault would win, and we were wrong. I thought that Sharon Magomedov wouldn't be as effective or able to cause damage to Marc-Andre Barriault, because he doesn't sit on a lot of strikes like very hard. He kind of just like goes out of range, steps back, smashes. His low kicks actually look like they hurt a lot more than I remember. I remember them being kind of like quick, touchy low kicks, but they were powerful and they were causing damage to Marc-Andre Barriault. But Barriault he's a little too chinny. He's a little too chinny for his type of fighting style. And Sharmagomedov, he won the first round very convincingly. He's way better on the feet than Marc-Andre Barriault. Second round, Marc-Andre Barriault just clapped Sharmagomedov with one shot. He just stepped in at the same time as Shar was stepping in. Marc-Andre Barriault kind of fights like this, like very just in, out, boom. And like not much, he doesn't have much head movement defense other than just he's got his hands up. But when he stepped in with that one shot, dude, he shattered Sharmagomedov's nose. His nose was mangled. And this is where I thought Marc-Andre Barriault would take over and win the fight. Because I don't know what gave me this idea, but in my mind, I'm thinking of Sharmagomedov as this fake tough guy. And I'm like, okay, he's going to get hit with a shot like that. That's going to break his nose or something. And we're going to see him kind of, nice mama dude. We're going to see him kind of whittle, or just get demoralized. Like whittle, I was going to say whittle away, but just get demoralized and slow down and kind of accept a defeat. And he did the opposite. I thought if Marc-Andre Barriault landed a shot like that and was able to put pressure on Sharmagomedov, he would get tired and Marc-Andre Barriault would be able to take over and kind of just destroy his confidence, win the fight that way. Didn't happen. Sharmagomedov dug deep and just declared war on Marc-Andre Barriault and just beat the shit out of him after that. Way better in the striking. He was more gritty than Marc-Andre Barriault, which I wasn't expecting in this fight. And he was looking to cause damage the whole fight up into the end, and with a broken nose like that. So, really good win from Sharmagomedov. It was a very entertaining fight, very good performance, and it was a performance that shows that he really wants to win and he really wants to be there in these fights. Do I think that he beats the higher levels in this division? Probably not, because he's going to get caught more than that. And then, again, if they're good grapplers, he's just going to get out-grappled. But he did show decent takedown defense in this fight against Marc-Andre Barriault, but Barriault doesn't always have the best takedowns. They're okay, but not that's his thing. Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. Brother, I thought this fight would be a little... In my mind, it was a little bit closer than it was, but it was also closer than it was in my mind. I don't know if that makes sense. It was almost exactly how I imagined it, that it doesn't seem like exactly how I imagined it. I thought Marcus McGee would do more output and be able to just land more than Peter Yan. I mean, look at the strikes, 130 to 66. But I thought Marcus McGee would throw Peter Yan, out-touch Peter Yan, and he could win a decision that way, although I did pick Peter Yan. I thought he would throw more in the first round than Peter Yan. Let's see, actually check the rounds. It was 24-23, so pretty much identical. But I thought Marcus McGee would be a little bit trickier with the inside calf kicks, the outside calf kicks, just because in his fight, last fight, he was doing a really good job of touching those low kicks and mixing it up with the hands and, just tapping to get these points, and then also landing big shots and kind of mixing it in together and just being really high output. However, the problem with Peter Yan, and I knew that Peter Yan's very good at checking leg kicks, moving his legs out of the way. He's very good. He kind of literally just goes, with his one leg goes, scoot. For you guys that can see the camera of me saying that, just getting that front leg out of the way. He doesn't even check. For the most part, he just literally just scooches it back very, very quick last minute. But this was kind of causing Marcus McGee a lot of issues, because where in other fights, those would have just touched the other person, maybe they wouldn't have caused a whole lot of damage. There would have been a clean shot, and it would have counted towards, you just watching him being more throwing more, landing more for the judges, even if they know it's not all effective. They know that, hey, this is landing. So he wasn't able to do that in this fight against Peter Yan. Part of the reason was because Yan was moving his legs out of the way, but part of the reason is because when he got into that close a distance against Peter Yan always fires back. You hit him with something, he's always firing back, and you could tell Marcus McGee was a little bit hesitant because of that. But Marcus McGee, all in all, like in this fight, he did look very good. Considering Peter Yan's one of the best in this division. Like, he's top 3 in this division, top 4 in this division, in my opinion. Like, it's a very, very, very tough night for absolutely anybody in bantamweight, and we could very well see him hold the belt again. I mean, he's a former champion in bantamweight, so it's a big step up for Marcus McGee, and he showed a lot of grit. He has great cardio. I think one of the things I said why Peter Yan would win was because, even though technique for technique, I thought they were going to be pretty even, maybe Peter Yan a bit better in how they execute their low kicks and how they execute their combos and stuff like that. But Peter Yan, in my mind, he's way more experienced than Marcus McGee, but he's just better at kind of adapting into a fight and figuring out how to do things to hurt his opponent, to hit his opponent. He's very, very good at figuring out what counters work quickly in a fight after the first round. Not after the first round, but he's very, very good at. He's just trickier than Marcus McGee. He's gonna have this kind of I don't want to say crafty vet kind of experience or bonus over Marcus McGee, but he's able to find what works because he's been doing it longer, because he's a little bit better, because he's a little bit more technical, but not by much. And it showed in this fight. It was still a very close fight, but Peter Yan pretty much won every round. You're gonna give almost every round to Peter Yan, and if you didn't, then it's okay. You give one to Marcus, but barely, barely. He was just a little bit ahead. He was a step ahead of Marcus McGee, not by a whole lot, but a step ahead. And I do think Marcus McGee does very well against everybody else. I think he needs to keep improving. I think give Marcus McGee 3-4 years, and he's gonna be a problem still for everybody. One thing I didn't like from Marcus McGee was the third round. Peter Yan had him up against the cage for a long time, just holding him there, and Marcus McGee showed zero urgency to get out of there. And that could have cost him the fight. I don't know if we go to the judges. Can we see the judges' scorecards on here? I don't know why I feel like I can see the judges' scorecards here, but I cannot. I don't know if it was 29-28 for Peter Yan. I can't remember. But he let himself lose that third round because he had no urgency to get out of there. You saw at the end of the round, he did exactly what he should have done 3 minutes earlier, and he was able to, get out of the position, and he just didn't. So that urgency was lacking in the third round by a lot. And yeah, I don't want to say it cost him the fight because I think Peter Yan still would have won, but things like that will cost him the fight in future fights. Up next, we got the main event, Bobby fucking Knuckles versus RDR. Dude, what is happening with Bobby Knuckles? The decline. And it's not it. It's the decline, but it's not even a goddamn decline. This dude, loses his belt to Adesanya after... People are treating, I hear podcasts, people talking about him like he's a gatekeeper. Robert Whittaker is not a fucking gatekeeper. He was the champion at this weight class. He had the belt for multiple fights. He's not a gatekeeper, and he never will be. I don't think you can call anybody who's had the belt a gatekeeper. You simply cannot. And then he worked his way all the way back up for a title shot, lost to DDP, and then he started working his way all the way back up and got his jaw broken by Chimaev. But other than that, he was on his way up to another title shot. Ugh. And then he gets beat by RDR in a very, very close fight. And brother, it just sucks to see Robert Whittaker get so close and then stopped. And he gets so close and stopped. And it's not even his performances are getting worse. He's really good in every fight. He's showing up really well in every fight, and he's fighting well. This was a very, very close fight against Reinier de Ridder. I think Reinier de Ridder won, and again, I know these guys were so tired, and it was such a hard fight and such a grueling fight. But that fifth round, there was just again a little bit of lack of urgency from Robert Whittaker, and a lot. Robert, you look at total strikes, it's crazy. Almost 200 to 70 for Reinier de Ridder, so it doesn't look as close as it was. But Robert Whittaker, oh my god, I'm tired as balls. He left a lot of really close rounds on the table. Like, just because he's trying to be like in and out against Reinier de Ridder. He's trying to, like, the first round he looked really good, just, but he used a lot of energy, trying to hit and not get hit and running around a lot in the cage, which is, you kind of have to do as a smaller fighter. But he left a lot of these rounds super close. Like, there was moments where he could have thrown more. Yes, he would put himself in more danger for sure. And there's always a possibility that by doing that, he could have got stopped. But he left a lot of close rounds here, man, that, ended up going to Reinier de Ridder because he just did a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of these ones where, like, you can't have, like, a bunch of close rounds and then get upset if, you lose a decision. So, not that he was upset. Obviously, he's probably bummed, but, like, he wasn't complaining about it. But, yeah, it's one of these ones where, like, if it's going to the judges' scorecard and you had a lot of close rounds where, like, the output is, like, slightly in favor of the other guy, you got to expect to lose that fight. So, one thing I will say is, I mean, again, it's kind of fun. Like, I wanted Robert Whittaker to win, but I also want Reinier de Ridder to win because, like, Reinier de Ridder is kind of on, like, a rampage in the UFC. Like, I feel like he's still, like, more, Reinier de Ridder is more like a UFC, like, hardcore kind of fighter. He's not, like, made it to, like, the casual level yet or, like, this super big name yet, but he's on his way, dude, and he's a very entertaining fighter, and he's put on great fights. He's beat a lot of, decent competition in the UFC, and he's kind of got this, like, plot armor on him. He's kind of got this plot armor on him where I could see him, like, Khamzat loses his fight against DDP or something somehow, and then Reinier de Ridder comes in and beats Khamzat. Like, he's kind of got, like, that kind of plot armor to, like, fluke a win over Khamzat. How crazy it would be to see Reinier de Ridder versus DDP. I'd almost rather that than, like, Reinier de Ridder versus Khamzat. I don't know, but Reinier de Ridder's on a really, really good win streak in the UFC. He's had some great fights. He's looked good in every fight. This is the only fight he didn't finish, and it was absolute war. He's huge for the division. He looked really, really big against Robert Whittaker. His knees that he uses are absolutely amazing. A lot of people don't use these open stance suck on knees. They always talk about using open stance kicks, body kicks, but never the knees. And we see it a lot of the time when I watch One Championship, like those in the striking, like those open stance knees, if you're willing to close the distance like that. And usually it works a little bit better for the taller guy, but they're devastating, man. They're devastating. And Reinier de Ridder just abuses them. Partially he abuses them because he's way bigger and he can mog everybody. And when he is stepping into clinch range, being that tall, like it's hard to get him. Like, it's really hard. He just kind of like steps in and just grabs you and just lands a big knee. And then at that point, he's exactly where he wants to be anyways, in the clinch, trying to take you down, or you're going to look to separate. So, yeah. I mean, he did get caught that one time by Robert Whittaker in this fight where he almost got, like, he was almost out. And the fight, I want to say it could have been stopped, but it was very, very close to being stopped. So he did almost, like, although, like, we'll say he won this fight, like, pretty clearly, he almost lost this fight at the same time. Like, Robert Whittaker did almost put his lights out, and that would have been a crazy scene as well. He'll have to be careful against guys that hit a bit harder than Robert Whittaker. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see, like, DDP as a better striker than Robert Whittaker, but if DDP hits him with that shot that Robert Whittaker did, I think Reinier de Ridder is going to be going down for good. So, but he looked really good in this fight. I want to see him fight one more fight and then the title for him. Like, throw him up there. He's ready. He's very entertaining, and I think he's got plot armor. I think he's gonna be fighting for a belt, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. He just beat number 5. He's not number 13. He's like top 5 in this weight division for sure. You can put him top 6, top 7, but he's one fight away from a title fight. Anyways, that wraps up this card. I hope you guys appreciated this video. It was a good card. It was a very entertaining card. I had fun watching it. I have fun watching all the cards, and I love making these videos for you guys. I'm a UFC fan at heart, and it's a fun way for me to, like, dive even deeper into the sport, making these videos for you guys. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.